Good afternoon. Really pleased to have Tom from Holidu with me today. SuperControl has been connected to Holidu for about a year now, but very few clients have used it. Had a lot of conversations with Tom over the last few weeks and learned an awful lot about Holidu. He's going to take us through a short presentation today where explaining where Holidu's come from and where it is now and why it's such a great opportunity for SuperControl clients. So Tom, I'll hand it over to you, and you can share your slideshow and carry it and get started.
Thanks very much. Okay, I'll just share my screen here. You should be able to see that now. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so firstly, thanks for your time. And so let's see how Holidu can help you grow your bookings and your brand. So what is Holidu? So in short, Holidu is a booking platform for holiday lettings. Now, if I refer to vacation rentals throughout the rest of this, please forgive me. Living in Germany has kind of converted me to how they think. Now, the whole concept and the mission statement of Holidu is to make the search for and booking of vacation homes easy. The user experience is a fundamental part of our success, and this is completely entwined in everything that we do, from ensuring that the product is optimized across all the platforms. We do continuous A/B testings to improve the product, as well as working closely with our partners to ensure that our listings are optimized and we maximize the booking potential of their inventory. So a quick timeline here as to how Holidu started to where it is now. So it started in 2014 when Michael and Johannes Stiebers were looking for somewhere to stay in Portugal for a surfing trip. So as you can see in the top left corner there, they found that they were looking at various sites for the same property, but they were always different prices. So the idea of having one place to see all the properties in the region with the best price was born. So they're heavily involved in the day-to-day running still. So Michael's the CTO and Johannes is the CEO. And if we go forward a couple of years already, in 2016, there was over 1 million monthly users with more and more partners signing up. And then fast forward to 2019, which is when I joined Holidu as well, there's over 200 employees from 30 different countries, and the success caught multiple investors' eyes, and we received over 40 million in funding. And then obviously this year it's been a roller coaster to say the least. But against all the obstacles, Holidu's actually achieved growth, and now we are actually the fourth largest booking platform for vacation rentals worldwide. And I think it's also worth mentioning that Holidu has evolved from a meta search originally into a booking platform over the last few years. Now, we still have the meta search fundamentals, but the full functionality of a booking platform. And I will go into that in a few slides along.
It's certainly interesting for me, and that's one of the things which I found, which I hadn't known, is how quickly and how significantly Holidu had grown over this short period. Now, absolutely right up there with the other big brands. And I think this is something which is important for SuperControl users to really understand that landscape of OTAs and booking channels is constantly evolving, and they're different. So this is really useful to have this insight into where Holidu has come from and where you are now. That it isn't a static world that we're living in.
No, definitely not. No. Okay, so I'll jump into the next one here. So it's just a few facts and figures about Holidu. So we've got over 16 million properties online across 21 live domains, over 25 million monthly users using 13 different languages, over 1,200 live partners across the world connecting either via direct API connection or through one of our channel manager partners such as SuperControl. As I mentioned, Holidu is also now a top 4 booking platform for vacation rentals, and this year we helped over 2 million travelers find their holiday letting, which amounted to over 400 million euros. So the next slide here. So this is a little bit about the growth of Holidu. Now this is a graph of the percentage growth month on month from December 2018 to October this year. Now, as you can see, Holidu's had very steady growth each month in the UK over the last 2 years until the drop in April this year, which I think affected everybody. But when restrictions lifted, the growth reached levels that we couldn't have believed. And this resulted in over 130 million euros worth of bookings in July alone. And the UK was responsible for almost a quarter of these bookings, with demand far outweighing the direct inventory available.
Yeah, of course, we all benefited in the summer, but your peak in the summer is rather shadowing what actually are quite impressive bars on the graph all the way through here.
We were seeing, over 100 to 200% growth each month, every month, and then it just went through the roof. And I think Holidu made a different approach to many other companies in the sort of OTA market, and we went to very much a hibernation mode and worked on the product during the months when lockdown was in play. Our developers were working 100%, and when we started to see some light at the end of the tunnel and restrictions lifting, we put all our efforts into marketing and making sure we were in the right place, and we were ahead of the curve at the right time. So it worked well.
And it's very interesting that so much of that growth is in the UK.
Yeah, it's our fastest growing market, bar none. Nowhere comes close to how well the UK has done for us. Absolutely. And I'm just going to go in a little bit about how Holidu compares with the other big three, I guess. So these are the figures for the UK this year. And as you can see, Holidu tends to attract a higher average nightly stay of 6 nights, which in turn leads to a higher average booking value of £710 per booking. Now, this mainly comes down to the customer mix that Holidu attracts, and they tend to be looking for a longer stay or a holiday rather than a weekend or a long weekend break. So, I think it's, it really shows the value that Holidu can add there as a booking platform.
It's a very interesting difference, and certainly matches with a lot of our more rural and holiday destinations. I guess maybe some of those other channels have got a more urban focus with shorter stays, but very interesting slide that.
So I guess, how can Holidu help you get more bookings? I guess that's what everyone wants to know. So what are the benefits of a partnership with Holidu? Well, obviously, there's the direct connection with SuperControl, so it's very, very straightforward. I will go into the integration steps later, but it's very simple and easy. So on-site booking. So customers can book one of your properties directly on Holidu. They don't have to be redirected to another site. It can be done fully on the Holidu platform. Your company branding. So every one of your properties that you list on Holidu will have your company name listed below it and in the property detail page. Now, the customer is shown the company logo and name of the provider of this property and advised they're booking one of your properties. And our sort of continuous A/B testing that we do is showing this leads to a very, very positive customer experience. And to add to this, I think it's also important to understand that if you're connected to, let's say VRBO or Booking.com, then you will likely already have your properties listed on Holidu, but under their label, and likely already receiving bookings from Holidu, but you wouldn't be aware of this as they come directly from VRBO, for example. Now, this is pulling data from these large redirection partners is part of the meta search program that Holidu was originally based on. So it's obviously evolved into more of an OTA now.
Yeah, so it is interesting, and probably people watching this may not be aware of the Holidu brand. They should be, as we've seen, but they may not be. But they're probably listing on HomeAway, VRBO, Booking.com, etc. And some of those bookings are coming via Holidu, and we'll talk more about the differentiation in costs and commission with Holidu later. But go on. Yeah. And find your own properties, and I bet you they're there.
Yeah. And also to add on to this point as well, if you connect via SuperControl, you'll not only be shown higher in the search results than the kind of large redirection partners, but the data quality and booking conversion is far superior. So mobile optimization. So what I mean by this is, so our analysis and data that we have here has shown that mobile is the preferred booking method for almost 2/3 of our users. So with that in mind, we ensure that the Holidu product is optimized fully for the mobile devices and apps before we run new updates on desktop and browser versions. It also helps to lower your dependency on other channels. So by partnering with Holidu, you also reduce the need to have these channels and allow them to take the majority of your business. So by no risk, what I mean is that Holidu works purely on a commission, and with SuperControl, it is 12% of the nightly rate only. And this is only charged for successful completed bookings the month after checkout. There's no integration costs, monthly or annual costs incurred. And I guess this is on par with or even lower than kind of our market competitors.
So I'd just add on that cost piece there, because we've managed to negotiate a great deal with Holidu here. We also aren't charging our standard channel service fee on top of these bookings. So unlike some of the other big players where we have a fee on top because of the amount of work involved in managing and maintaining these connections. So you're appearing on Holidu already, probably getting bookings, probably paying someone else more and paying SuperControl on top of that. So there's some compelling reasons to look at this.
Yeah. And personal account manager. So all Holidu's partners have a personal account manager who specializes in their region. For the UK and Ireland, it's myself. So it's my responsibility to bring on new partners, also to ensure that they perform and be a point of contact for any and all issues going forward.
I guess I should also just mention in here that at the moment, there's a limit for SuperControl clients to onboard of 20 properties. So you've got to have 20 active properties that are bookable, just to make sure that we're managing that process effectively and you're able to support everyone correctly.
Yes, correct. And I guess one of the main important factors just now is that, at the moment, there couldn't be a more optimal time to partner with Holidu as our demand far outweighs the current inventory, and the high booking season is just around the corner. We hope.
It will come eventually. We recording this in the middle of the English lockdown and all the other things which are going on, but looking forward with some good, very positive news on vaccines and things coming. We know we're going to have a good year next year.
Yes.
From our point of view, we're being, because we're looking at a very positive year in 2021, distribution is one of the key components, or should be a key component of anyone's strategy, getting their distribution right to be able to capture that huge demand that we expect and therefore charge the optimum rates. It's very well to say, oh, well, I'm fully booked up for summer 2021. What we need everyone to be is booked up at the absolute maximum optimum price, and getting that to the widest possible funnel is the best way to achieve that. And this is why we're looking at these kind of opportunities right now.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Okay, well, I guess demand outweighs inventory, so I'm going to go into a bit more of that. So as you can see here, these are the searches made in the UK and Ireland this year, with clear hotspots where you might expect for holiday destinations. Mm-hmm. Now, I also need to mention that the blue areas are lower than others in searches, but these are scaled to how many searches were made in the red zones, but also because our direct inventory in these regions is actually very low, which results in a lower marketing effort for these areas. Now, if you compare that to the instantly bookable inventory, you can see there's a huge difference in the searches made compared to what we currently list. And at Holidu, we're constantly talking about the wheel of progress. So as we increase our inventory, we can invest more into the marketing and market in these regions, which will result in more bookings to attract further partnerships. And so the wheel can keep turning and keep turning. And, I really do believe this is a huge opportunity to grow your own market share by partnering with Holidu through SuperControl, with demand far outweighing the inventory, which is kind of clear to see.
Yeah, that's really a good picture to see. So just to clarify, by instantly bookable, you would mean, for example, connecting directly via SuperControl rather than just relying on a connection through another OTA.
Exactly, yes, exactly.
And the conversion is significantly greater when...
Far superior. And it's because we keep the user on Holidu rather than being redirected to another page. And the reason they've come to Holidu is because they like the simple use of Holidu. The whole idea of it is to be as simple to use as possible, from searching to booking, and being redirected is not always favorable for a lot of our customers.
Yeah. So I know you're going to show us what that looks like for a SuperControl listing now, but for those of you watching, if you want to go to Holidu, find your listings via another channel or others, you will see what we mean by redirecting out to other sites, and it will be very obvious to you what why that conversion is lower.
Yeah. So obviously something that's happened this year is the COVID effect. So just going to jump in a quick sort of overview of what we've seen and what we expect to see. So I'm sure we can all agree that this year has been somewhat of a roller coaster, should we say. But we've definitely seen that as soon as people can, they will travel. And I think the mega trend of vacation rentals won't stop with COVID, and it will continue to improve when measures ease. Now, this has never been more clear than when restrictions were lifted in May and June, and the UK has seen a significant improvement in local, regional and national travel as people are choosing to avoid planes and foreign travel restrictions. Now, what we see here, we expect to see similar booking trends for next year as travellers choose, again, regional travel and destinations that are within driving distance. And, Robert, I guess, not just for Holidu, but I guess you're likely to see this across, all your connections.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of our clients here are here in the UK, and the UK has always been a primarily domestic market. Yes, we have some areas that do well from overseas visitors, but most of our people choosing to stay in UK self-catering originate from the UK. So that strong market is only going to be stronger with fewer people traveling overseas. We are, as you've said, when we look back to May and June, when we sort of saw the first sniff of the restrictions being lifted, we saw that massive spike in bookings. We're confident it will come again. It's just we don't know quite when that will be at the moment, but let's hope it's not too far into the future. Really going to be interesting to see how what we're saying, and obviously this video will survive for a while, but we're recording it at the end of November. We wouldn't urge people to be hunting bookings for summer 2021, especially at this moment in time, because the demand will be so high. You will definitely be able to get more optimized rates than booking well ahead at this moment in time. Rather than taking those bookings, putting your efforts into these kind of partnerships, getting your properties well promoted, so that as soon as that demand spikes, you'll be able to capitalize on those extra bookings.
Yeah. Okay, and the last point here is, so I think the COVID situation is actually helped further improve the rise of vacation rentals by taking booking volumes away from hotels and cruises, as travellers are choosing rural and isolated staycations for their holidays. And I think these trends are of significant value to our UK and Ireland-based partners as these regions grow in popularity across Holidu.
Yeah, and I think that the long-term impact of the pandemic, assuming it does sort of go back to some kind of normality during 2021, these are longer-term patterns. We've introduced a whole market to our sector. We've seen people who might have traveled overseas experiencing the UK, people as you've said here, traveler that may have experienced hotels or cruises, at least have experienced a holiday which they wouldn't have normally chosen. Also, a word which I learned a few weeks ago, workcation. A lot more people working at home and choosing to work from home in more interesting or pleasant surroundings. So there's lots of sort of society changes which are positive for our sector, and makes us very optimistic, not just in 2021, but beyond.
Okay, so what does the Holidu booking journey look like? Well, let's have a quick look here. So actually, the search is made on Holidu, and the name and logo of your company are displayed quite clearly, which we will see in a couple of slides' time. The customer information and booking directly is made on Holidu, and the Holidu customer happiness team is available to help the clients complete their bookings on Holidu. So when a booking is made, booking confirmation email sent to the client and to the agency, and your SuperControl calendar is updated and synchronized through that booking. So that's part of the one of the benefits as well with connecting through SuperControl. Now with the payment here, the client makes payment directly to you. So I don't know if Robert, if you want to jump in a bit more on.
Yeah, so every channel, every OTA is slightly different. In the current integration with Holidu, as we've seen in the slide here, the booking is placed via our API, appears directly in your SuperControl account, synchronizes across all of your other channels, and then the guest is redirected to a SuperControl payment page. They make payment directly as if they were booking direct. We're also looking at a way of tightening that up even more as we continue to improve the integration. But the key thing is that Holidu aren't hiding the guest information from you, and they aren't getting in the way of the payment. This is through your own payment processor, through your own terms, being processed directly by you as if it was a normal booking. At the moment in COVID, it's important to have access to guest contact information and their address where they come from, with the complexities of COVID tiers. But going forward, having access to that guest, being able to correspond with them directly, be able to effectively try and capture that guest for future bookings is really important. And Holidu, unlike some of the competitors, are letting you do that. So it's a big differentiator.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. And so we move on to the beginning of the stage. So the partner would be in direct contact with the customer to manage the check-in. So, continuing this process, they take payment, but they also are in frequent contact to make sure the check-in goes as well. And if they have any questions about the property for any reason, then they would speak with the partner directly.
Yeah, and just to explain as well, so you're managing that booking, the correspondence in SuperControl. If the booking is modified or cancelled, that is, they're not having to go through a complex route through Holidu, that you're in charge of that booking. And then as the final step indicates here, the Holidu will invoice you based on data from SuperControl on the bookings that actually happened.
Yeah, so the commission is due the month after the beginning of the stay. So for example, if I made a booking today for the end of December and checked in, we would be able to pull that data from the SuperControl booking manager, and then we would invoice in January the commission for that booking in December. So let's go to the next one. So how would your properties be displayed on Holidu? So as you can see here, this is a screenshot that I did a couple of hours ago, actually, of a search I did in Cornwall for Friday the 1st of October next year until the 8th. So this is how they look, and you can see with the property photo details, as well as the providers of these properties are listed below them. So I'm going to take a risk here. We're going to do a live test. So let's have a look and see how this goes. So this is what you will see when you click on the properties here. So it has come up here. So for example, here's Cornwall's Cottages, one of the properties there, actually connected through SuperControl as well. You can see the name and the prices pulled through, and as well as the ratings and reviews. So these reviews are pulled from other channels as well, such as booking.com or VRBO. So this is why it's also very important for the partners to be in contact with the customer, because these reviews are pulled and shown, which helps to increase further return bookings. So if we click on view deal, as you can see here, the price synchronization as well, and you're showing the local currency. So if it's on .co.uk, which I have done here, it will show you in pounds. If it's on the German domain, it will show you in euros, on the Spanish domain euros, on the US domain dollars. Now with the connection here, as you can see, this is the property details that we've pulled through from SuperControl with an overview, the description, some amenities, so pets allowed, all the general facilities that they have here, the location on a map, your closest airports and beaches, as well as a synchronization with the calendar. So I've obviously done later in the year, but you can see here for earlier in the year, in the higher season, the dates are already booked out. And you can also do, so for example, these ones here you can see is weekly bookings only. So this is why you can only select these 2 days. And as you go down further, the cancellation policies, your payment methods, and obviously the property managers is Cornwall's Cottages there. And as it says, our verified partner will manage your reservation. And then from there, you would click on book now, and this would take you to the detail page. And as you can see here, these are the details that must be completed by the customer. So you get all of the full name, the details, postcode, cities, email address, and phone numbers. So I'm not going to book this now, but yes.
You can't book it. Well, you can for next October possibly, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, once they've completed that form, then they'll get redirected to a payment page, which is a SuperControl payment page to enter their card. So you will get a booking and then a subsequent payment.
That's correct, yeah. So let's have a look at this again. And okay, so how to start an integration with SuperControl. So if this is everything, you know, and you think this is fantastic, how do I sign up with Holidu? The first step is to sign up to the Holidu Partner Portal and activate the Holidu channel on SuperControl. So this is what the Partner Portal page looks like, and this is the link to it here, which is readily available. Now I can help partners run through the sign-up process if you need some help, but it's very, very straightforward. And then from there, after signing up to the Partner Portal, you'll be provided with the Holidu Partnership Agreement via a Hello sign, which is able to be signed online. And then from there, Holidu takes care of the rest of integration for you. So we also complete test bookings and make sure that everything works as expected and ensure that you're happy with everything before we set any of your properties live on Holidu.
So just to sort of differentiate a couple of things. First of all, that Holidu Partner Portal link is available in your SuperControl account. So go to the Channel Manager pages, find Holidu, and there's a link direct to the right place. And unlike some of the other channels, Holidu do a lot of the hard work on their side with mapping data and setting up your listings. So in some of the channels, you're having to fill out specific data in a lot of different fields. Holidu are just pulling that and doing that hard work on their side rather than you having to do it, which is a very nice approach. And I can assure you it's welcomed by people who have every channel is different and it can be confusing. And so it's really useful that you do a lot of that heavy lifting.
So that's it from myself. So I can stop sharing my screen there. So I'm back live. But no, hopefully that gives a good overview for Holidu. And obviously I'm here to answer any questions if people have. My contact details will be on the details that Robert sends out as well.
Yeah. So, well, thank you very much, Tom. It's been really interesting to learn. I know it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but if people do have questions, they can get in touch with you. As I said at the beginning, it's really important for everyone to understand that the channel landscape is changing. Here we've got Holidu, which has risen very quickly to become one of the main channels. You need to be aware of that. You need to understand what's out there and what the opportunities are. There's some potential cost savings of using Holidu as well, as we've seen. From the data that I've seen in your presentation and from other conversations, I can see that that your trajectory isn't stopping. So it's only going to become more and more important to be involved in channels that are growing rather than just relying on the old favorites.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyone that wants to know more, the information is in the SuperControl Channel Manager page, as I said before. Tom's details are readily available. And if you've got any questions, just either come back to our support or to Tom at Holidu. The really interesting opportunities right now is a good time to get your distribution right. So thank you very much, Tom.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's been good. It's been really good.